Yo, what is good, YouTube, and welcome back to another JC2K video. In today's video, we are going to be taking a look at the brand new Spark players coming out today here in NBA 2K24 MyTEAM, and I'm going to be completely honest with y'all. I already recorded this entire video, but my mic glitched. I might be getting a new microphone soon because I am sick of this microphone glitching. But regardless, I've already looked at all these cards. Some of them are interesting, some of them not so much. As a whole, it's a pretty decent drop, I would say, but I do wish we were seeing more like changed releases specifically on some of these top tier cards, and we'll talk about that as we progress through the video. Before we hop into it, if you haven't already, make sure you hit that subscribe button. Help me push towards the 30,000 subscriber mark on the channel. Without further ado, let's record this video for a second time. Kevin Huerter, 6'7" with a 6'7" wingspan. I mean, that's not short. The problem with this card is mainly the fact that he doesn't have the immovable enforcer badge. Like, that's the #1 issue. He's not an exceptional slasher nor playmaker, but not horrible in those areas. And I do think 85 driving dunk is not bad. 97 3 ball with a very good release. I remember even on his Amethyst early in the year, his release was really nice. So that part I'm sure is good still. And Pro 2 fade, SIGs that are a little underwhelming. Hard behind the back, John Wall's drag back is good, but a Pro Escape probably not that great. There's a couple different Pro Escapes that fall into that Pro Escape category, but most of them are not very good. So I think as a whole, you're probably looking at a mediocre shooting guard. Pretty fun shooter and like decent-ish shot creator with a good fade, but I think the unfortunate part about this card is the fact that he's not an exceptional defender. Doesn't have that immovable enforcer badge. I just think realistically a couple of viable shooting guards, guys like Mike Miller and Morris Peterson, are probably slightly better options than that Kevin Huerter. A Jared Vanderbilt is interesting because he's 6'8" with a 6'11" wingspan and an absolutely exceptional defender. Hot spots from everywhere, great slashing badges. The shooting badges being all gold is fine because he's got all the important ones, and that's good enough for me. Versus playmaking badges, I mean, blow by speed booster and then a bunch of gold ones as well. Not terrible. Defensively is obviously where he shines the most. He's got basically everything on Hoff, and he's got 95 stats across the board. 95 rebounding, 95 speed to the ball, 94 excel, 98 vert, 95 strength, 97 standing dunk. Like really, really good stats across the board. 89 3 ball is more than high enough as well because you put a coach in a shoe on him, and that's a 97 too. I don't have any issues with that. The one problem that I do kind of have with this card is that I think his release is kind of, well, I don't think it's bad. I liked his release on his diamond card early in the year, and it is on very quick now. I don't think it's going to be the best small forward release in the game, but I don't think it's going to be the worst either. Honestly, you know who this card reminds me a lot of? This Jared Vanderbilt reminds me a lot of Dark Matter Jonathan Isaac in terms of, I think he'll have a pretty similar player build. I think release may not be unbelievably elite. This card is going to be a better playmaker, I do believe, though. And if that pro behind the back is Jamal Murray, which hopefully it is, then you are looking at legitimately one of the best free small forwards in the entire game with this Jared Vanderbilt. I think even a guy like Bobby Jones, who I really like, does have one kind of ish flaw, and that's that his upper is not exceptional. I think that's kind of where we are with Jared Vanderbilt too, but I still think the release is going to be really good. And I think as a whole, he should be one of the best free small forwards in the game. Like, I think it basically is Kyle Kuzma, Bobby Jones, and then this Jared Vanderbilt card is going to be right in that discussion. Should be a super duper solid free card. Another interesting free card is going to be this Joe Ingles, 6'9" with a 6'10" wingspan at small forward himself. Also has really solid completeness. He's not quite the defender that Jingles is, but he's still got good speed. He's an okay slasher with posterizer, precision dunker, and bulldozer, all on Hall of Fame. Great shooting badges, decent playmaker, super solid defender still with the gold immovable, bunch of good Hoffs on the perimeter and the interior. He's still got interior badges like anchor, brick wall, post lockdown, and he's got all the perimeter key ones like 94 feet clamps, fast feet glove, and right stick gripper. So good looking card as a whole, and a release that I don't really know about. That's the one question for me with Joe Ingles, is how is his jump shot? And honestly, I don't really know. I know there's a guy over here that generally puts in releases, but I don't know if he actually is still doing that. I guess not. So we'll have to see how Joe Ingles releases, because I think that's going to be the biggest question mark on this card, because if his release is pretty good, he's a super solid card. I like the badge completeness. I like the size at 6'9" at small forward, and I like the fact that he's an elite shooter, solid defender, good speed, all that type of stuff. Like, does everything solidly well. Kemba escape, Curry slide. Card could be pretty good. It's just going to depend on how that releases, if he is also an elite level free small forward. Like, I know Vanderbilt's release is at least solid. I haven't used Joe Ingles' release all year. I have no idea. It could be good, could be bad. Something we're going to have to find out. If it's good, he's a stud. Fred VanVleet. Obviously, he's not as exciting as the other guys. I mean, I don't think that's a huge surprise. I don't think we're going to get here and be super excited about a 6-foot point guard at this point in the year. And it doesn't matter who it is. 6-foot point guards just are not exciting at this point in the year. And that's okay. If you are a Fred VanVleet fan, which I'm sure there's somebody out there watching this video who's a big Fred VanVleet fan. I don't think he's one of those guys who has an absolutely gigantic fan base, but I'm not going to sit here and say there aren't Fred VanVleet fans out there. And if that's you, this card is usable. That's the beauty of in-game MyTEAM. Every single card that comes out is at least usable, especially against a player who is not an elite level player. If you play against a sweat with a competitive type lineup, good luck with a 6-foot Fred VanVleet on the floor. He's just going to be a big liability defensively, but he does still have great stats and badges as a whole. He's not an exceptional slasher, but he's a very good shooter, playmaker, and perimeter defender. Will struggle on the interior because of his lack of size, but SIGs are top tier. Release is really good. Like, as a whole, I do think this Fred VanVleet card will be fun. I don't think he's going to be exceptional, but I think if you are a Fred VanVleet card fan, he will be a very usable, fun PG. And at the end of the day, that's really all you could hope for with a 6-foot point guard at this point in the year. Now, last two cards of the Dark Matters, Boogie and KG. I think Boogie's like okay. I don't love that 2K did not change his SIGs at all. I don't remember what behind the back he had on his Galaxy Opal, but I assume that's probably the same on this Dark Matter. If it's Jamal Murray, it's really good. If not, it's a little disappointing. Release on very quick, I don't think was bad. Normal fade is not the best, but I will say stats and badge-wise, he's really, really good. He's got great shooting. He's an elite versatile defender, super great dunker. He's got really good all-around stats. Like, I think this card is very good, and I don't remember his release being bad either. I think Boogie's release was okay. I don't think it's going to be unbelievably great, but I think this card is going to be one of the better non-gambling power forwards in the game, kind of on that Bill Russell type level probably, where he's in that maybe 4th or 5th best free, or 4th or 5th best power forward, non-gambling power forward option, honestly. I don't think he's quite on the level of like a George Mikan, who I think is a really, really good free card that you could get from the token market. I think that George Mikan's basically just going to be a better version of a DeMarcus Cousins with a better release and slightly better SIGs. But as a whole, I do think this Boogie's decent, just not exceptional. But the card that I think most people are the most interested in today, and for good reason, is the big ticket, Kevin Garnett. 6'11", 7'2" wingspan, hotspots from literally everywhere, 40 Hall of Fame badges, 35 gold badges, literally only missing Giant Slayer and Spot Finder. If you want to add those, feel free. But the thing that's best about this card is the fact that when you look at his badges, he's really not missing anything that you would actually truly want on Hall of Fame really badly. Like, he's even got the Hoff handles for days, which is really, really nice at the power forward position. Got key shooting badges, elite finisher, and of course, an exceptional defender. Stat-wise, he is the best card from today's drop as well. 98 standing and driving, 92 3-ball, 95 speed, 91 steal ball, 98 defensive stats pretty much across the board with a 99 block and 98 rebounding. And then SIGs-wise, he's got perfect SIGs, the exact same SIGs that his 100 overall has. Kemba escape, Kyrie dribble style, Jamal Murray behind the back, John Wall's drag back, like top tier SIGs, even Francis size up, and then Pro 2 fade is also really, really good. The only flaw with this Kevin Garnett card is that his release is just not that great. That's the honest truth, and I think he is still very usable at the power forward position. He likely is better than DeMarcus Cousins, I would say, but still, when I think of, I don't know, like when I compare him to, for example, a George Mikan, who is a free power forward that you can get this season, I kind of think I still might lean George Mikan. I know statistically KG is better, and I know KG's animations in terms of his SIGs are better, but George Mikan also has pretty good SIGs and has a release that I think is better than KG's, even if his fade isn't as good. This card is very much in the discussion for best free power forward in the game right now, as long as you're not considering Dikembe at power forward, because Dikembe is definitely better than this KG. But if Dikembe is at center, this KG is very much in the discussion for best free power forward in the game. Is he the best free power forward in the game? That I don't really know for sure. Haven't used his release in a while. I did try his 100 overall, and I thought that card was really good for its time, but that was also a while ago. It's going to be interesting to see how big of an issue that release feels on a card that outside of that release is absolutely exceptional in this KG. He's an interesting card, though, and this is an interesting drop. That I will say for sure, so hopefully y'all are looking forward to today's content. It does look interesting to me as well, and I hope y'all did enjoy the video. If you did, make sure you hit that like button, leave a comment, and subscribe. I'll be back with more 2K content very, very soon, and I appreciate y'all. Peace.